Hello, this is Mark from My Keys to Music. Thanks for joining me on this video. We are talking about the Yamaha FC7 control pedal, also known as an expression pedal. So there's a lot of different things that this pedal can do if it's connected to a Nord keyboard. But there are three features here identified with options on the back of the pedal that are A, not often talked about, and B, not often understood. So in this video in particular, we are going to dive deep on these three cool and, dare I say, sleeper features, but now that you know what they are, or once you learn what they are, I think you'll really enjoy it. In fact, I know that I've had this pedal for 5-6 years, and it wasn't until recently that I discovered the options, and now I'm wondering how I ever lived without it and kicking myself for not taking more time with it. That's what this video is all about. Thanks for joining me, and we'll dive in. So here's the Yamaha FC7 pedal. The three features I want to talk about are located on the back of this pedal. We have the angle adjustment, the spring adjustment, and the daisy chain plate option where we can combine two pedals at once or more. So let's first take a look at the angle option. We'll be unscrewing this latch and taking a look. But before I unscrew this, I want to show you the default pedal position when you first buy this. At least this is the way my pedals came. So if you look at the pedal in this position, the top part of the pedal is flush with the bottom part of the pedal at this angle. You can see that here. And if you look at it this way, you know, it's a seamless connection. It's definitely connected. And then when you fully depress the pedal, it's at a 90-degree angle to the ground or the floor. And I believe that this positioning, this angle positioning, is perfect for when you're sitting. Because when you think about where your foot is when you're sitting, it's very comfortable for your foot to be in this position, because if you're a driver, you think about driving pedals are at pretty much this angle, and then moving it flat is also very comfortable. So sitting position, this range of motion is completely natural. Now, I will take it apart and we'll take a look at the other angle option that you have. So to do that, you literally have to unscrew this screw. Now you can take this so that it completely comes out, and I find it easier to just sort of put it on its side and then wiggle it out like that. And once you do that, this pedal will come apart. You sort of just move it up in that angle, that same angle that it's pointing in right now, just kind of move it right out and it'll come out like that. And then you might need to detach your cord here. And this is designed in such a way that the cord can come right out through the base. So I'll do that now and show you a couple things. So because we can detach the base, and this is essentially plastic and rubber, you can go ahead and rinse this out if you want to clean this out just for your own aesthetics. If this is a studio thing and it's been sitting there for years, it's probably loaded with dust. So that's one thing. But the main reason I took this apart is to show you this bottom mechanism where the pedal, where the back pedal attaches. You have two options here. You have this larger opening, and if you look very closely, it's sort of angled down in the same way that the pedal was angling up earlier. So yeah, that first position, which is the position you purchase it at, the base of the pedal goes inside the larger hole. Right above it, inside this inset, is another option for the base of the pedal to slide backwards in like this. So in one case, it's angled this way, and the pedal mechanism sits on top of this top part of the rubber base. In the second position, or what I call the standing position, the pedal will come in this way, slide backwards into this slot, and instead it won't be leaning on this, it'll actually inset inside this, giving it a completely different angle option for you. And the way they designed it, it's pretty smart. This little piece here, as it comes through the hole, when the pedal is inset, this mechanism will go inside the hole here. But when the pedal mechanism is on top of this base, the way this angles, it actually holds it in place like this. So as the pedal mechanism is in, this latch will come in on top of that. In other words, it'll affix itself right here on top. So either in here or on here. And I'm telling you all this in detail so that when you assemble this, it's very obvious which way you're going. So for that first position, the one that we just took out, you'll angle to get it back in, you'll angle the pedal downward first and then let it sit nicely on top of the base. This rubber base just going to sit right on top of it. This latch will come in from underneath and go inside the hole, the slot right here. And it'll just magically work when you screw it back in. It'll hold itself. The second position, you'll want to make your pedal and your base a little flatter so that you're almost coming in at a flat side, but you do have to start forward and then slip it in like this, backward. And when you do that, the mechanism will sit inside the base. And you'll notice on the back of the pedal here, it's got a lip. You might be able to see that. That lip is what goes in either the angle of the base or the back slot part. So I'm just going to flatten this out here and then push it back in straight. And now that I've done that, you'll see, look at it just sit right in. It goes right in. Instead of being on top of this, it goes right in. So now that you're armed with that knowledge, you can put the piece back in and just keep in mind that it's going to come out more of an angle like this, because that piece now, if you look closely, it's latched on top of that mechanism instead of inside. And when I put this back in, we will have a completely different angle to play with. Kind of brilliant how they designed this. And the distinction between one angle and the other, in my mind, is whether you want to sit or stand. So now that I've got this pedal more in the flat position, you'll see that the angle, this is as far back as I can go. It's no longer flush with the base. There's a big gap. And the angle is not nearly as drastic. Whereas the angle before was more like this. Now it's like this. And now you get the option of having the pedal actually go inward at an angle downward. So if you think about that for a second, now I'm standing as a musician, a keyboard player who stands. The foot has not so much of an angle like this, where standing at an angle like this is really hard on the feet. Instead, you're almost flat, not quite, but you have a little bit of an angle. Then you come to a flat part, and then you can go right in for maximum. And that's very, very comfortable when you're standing, compared to the pedal in the other position. So once you assemble that back the way you want, you can take the cable, the cord, and just put it right through the hole here. You'll see there's a hole here. Just put it right through like this. Goes right in like that. And then just pull it through. Okay. And you'll see underneath here there's a little place where the cord goes in, so it holds it nice and tight. And then on the back of this, there's a place for the cord to be held nice and tight there too. Give it a touch of slack, maybe a 1/4 of an inch of slack, so that when you move the pedal back and forth, there's no tightness. All right, that takes care of the angle feature. Very cool feature. I didn't realize it till I've had the pedal for 5 years. I've always seen this, but I never really paid attention to it too much. Figured I'd get to it someday, and that someday has happened. Okay, that's part one. Part two, we have this option here, which is a little bit more straightforward of a feature. It doesn't really require a lot of engineering. You just take this plate out and on the one side, and then we'll swap it over like this. We'll just move it like that. And you'll notice that this plate here has screw holes that are fixed, and then these are loose. You do have some play on one side or the other. So I'll just do it this way for now. And I won't tighten it all the way, but mostly. So I happen to have here another Yamaha FC7 pedal, which comes with its own latch. Now this pedal here that I'm about to attach to the first pedal is in the different angle. It's in the default angle, the one for sitting. So let's see if I can connect both of these together, knowing that that's the case. And when I flip these around, we'll be able to see those angle differences. Now, obviously, if you're going to make this connection between two pedals, you'll want both pedals adjusted in the same way, I would think, because you're either going to be sitting or standing and pedals are going to be right next to each other. So you'll want to have the same angle, but then again, maybe you don't want to have the same angle so that your foot can naturally distinguish between one or the other just based on the feel. But here we go. So now these pedals are connected, which is very cool. And there you go. So you can see the two different angles there. And then this one goes all the way in. This one has a maximum play of this. So why would you need two pedals in the first place? For a Nord keyboardist, one pedal could be your control pedal for morphing and making adjustments that way. And another pedal could be for your volume, your swell pedal, and make adjustments that way. So this is a really lethal combination. It's clean. These guys are rugged. And now you've learned that they have multiple angles and the ability to connect together. So very cool. Let's look at the third feature. I will disconnect these and then come back and we'll look at this feature closer to the Nord keyboard where it'll make a little bit more sense when we calibrate the spring setting. Okay, here we have the pedal and I've got it connected to the swell option, the organ swell on my Nord Stage 4. Then you'll want to go into your pedal adjustments. It's either under the system settings or under pedal. In this case, the Stage 4 has a dedicated pedal button. So as you look through the pedal settings, you can make sure that your control pedal type is the Yamaha FC7, swell pedal type, the same Yamaha FC7. And in this case, it's showing me that it's for volume, which is fine. You have the option of volume, wheel morph, swell. So there's multiple options here on the Stage 4. But as I look here, it shows me the percentage. So as I move the pedal forward, this would be the position of 100% versus 0. So this is the play of the pedal. Now you'll note that it will sit wherever you let it rest. So let's say you want to fix your position so that the pedal is resting at 75% when you're not touching it. That gives you the play of 0 to 75 here, going backwards, or going forwards 75 to 100. But when you let go, you want your pedal to spring back to 75 and settle there so that when you're not using the pedal, you have a consistent volume and one you don't have to guess. Using your foot to guess where you should be in that sweet spot is very difficult without the spring. So that's where the spring comes in. You'll use the same screwdriver we used before, and you'll find the option here. It says spring point adjustment. It's pointing. It's sort of pointing to this top hole. It's actually the bottom hole. So I will turn it clockwise to enable the spring. And it's going to take several turns clockwise. And as you do, you can see here, if you do it while you're connecting, you actually can see it's now at 75. And as I turn more clockwise, it's going to go lower and lower and lower as the pedal continues to move. So let me just show you what I mean. If I'm using the pedal now, the spring is enabled. If I push down on the pedal, it's a little bit more resistant, but as I let go of the pedal, it settles back here to 66. So right here, it's calibrated at a 66. So I went a little too far, so I'm going to go counterclockwise on this turn. And then you can just kind of watch right here. It's almost there. I'm going to do a couple more. And 1, 2. There we go. And there. You just kind of wait and look at it. It'll kind of do it for you almost. There. It's at 75%. So now I've calibrated this pedal so that when it's in a resting position, now it's actually 78. So go a little tighter, which is to the right, clockwise. And let's see if I've got it. Yeah, that's between 75 and 74. Now you don't have to guess where your pedal sits. And it's great. So you have all this for 0 through 75. As you feel that resistance, you'll know you're at the 75 mark. And then you need that extra oomph. You push the pedal in and let it go. And then you're right back to normal and playing at a regular volume, one that's consistent, one that you've keyed in when you did your sound check. So I don't know how I've managed to do this without the spring for this many years and at the wrong angle. So now you know a lot more about your Yamaha FC7, the hidden secrets to really bring it over the top. What a great pedal.